Welcome to CNN 10, World News Explained. My name is Carl Azus. Thank you for watching. The United Nations Security Council, which is responsible for maintaining peace and security throughout the world, has responded to a recent nuclear bomb test by North Korea. The 15-member council unanimously approved new sanctions, economic punishments on the country. The idea is that by hurting North Korea's economy, these sanctions will pressure the communist nation to consider giving up its nuclear and missile programs, which the UN considers illegal. North Korea believes these weapons will deter anyone from wanting to attack the nation and help its government stay in power. Economic sanctions have not stopped North Korea in the past, but the new ones, which were drawn up by the US, have some new goals. They include stopping other countries from doing certain types of business with North Korea, banning the country from selling its textiles overseas, and limiting the amount of oil that North Korea can import. The U.S. originally wanted to ban all international shipments of oil to North Korea, but it had to revise the sanctions to be less severe out of concerns that Russia or China, a North Korean ally, would have vetoed them and kept the measures from getting passed.
When it comes to United Nations Security Council resolutions, you can't always get what you want. But diplomats, through negotiations, can come to an agreement. And that's what we saw with the United States, Russia, and China, this watered-down resolution. But U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, says it still hits Pyongyang hard.
These are by far the strongest measures ever imposed on North Korea. They give us a much better chance to halt the regime's ability to fuel and finance its nuclear and missile programs.
The South Korean government welcomed the new sanctions, saying they thought very highly of them, but they did leave the door open for diplomacy, urging North Korea to come to the negotiating table. Pyongyang warned of unbearable consequences if these sanctions were passed, but for the average South Korean, they don't take these kind of threats too seriously. They've had 6 decades of fiery rhetoric from the North. But the one thing they are concerned about is a North Korea with a nuclear weapon. And that's why we've seen this two-pronged approach. On one side, you see a strong show of force through military exercises. On the other side, you see the South Koreans working with the international community through diplomacy to try to pressure North Korea to give up their nuclear program. Ian Lee, CNN, Seoul.
Some residents of the Florida Keys are returning to their homes today and getting their first full look at what Hurricane Irma did on its destructive path through the region. The U.S. government estimates that a quarter of all buildings in the Keys are destroyed and about 65% are damaged. Throughout Florida, where the storm made landfall in the U.S., around 15 million people have no electricity. Officials say some will have it back by this weekend, others won't have it until later this month. More than 1 million people in Georgia are in the dark, thousands more in North and South Carolina and Alabama. Jacksonville, Florida saw a record storm surge and flooding. Parts of Charleston, South Carolina were underwater too. That's just Irma's impact on America. The United Nations says throughout the Eastern Caribbean, as many as 200,000 people were affected by this hurricane, and that islands like Barbuda and St. Martin may be uninhabitable. If you'd like to get involved to help those in need, CNN.com/impact is a good starting point. Even with the storm gone, many threats remain, like the dangers from fallen power lines and flooding. And those are just the ones we can see.
You eat it, you breathe it, it could save your life, but if you're not careful, it might also kill you. There are some 100,000 known species of mold that come in a range of colours. They can be found in the air and on many surfaces. Technically a fungus, mold is neither a plant nor an animal. The ancient Egyptians used to put mouldy bread on infected wounds. And in 1928, Alexander Fleming discovered that a strain of mold could make penicillin. His discovery gave rise to antibiotics, which revolutionized medicine and saved millions. Many popular cheeses are made with mold. But there's a dark side to delicious, miraculous mold. It has been linked to respiratory illnesses, including asthma, which can lead to death if severe enough. It thrives in damp, warm and humid conditions. It reproduces and spreads rapidly by making microscopic seed-like pods called spores. Usually these airborne pods are harmless. You have some on your clothing right now, in fact. But prolonged exposure to great volumes of the stuff can increase your chances of developing adverse reactions, including headaches, respiratory issues, eye and skin irritation. All it needs to grow is a bit of moisture and some nutrients. A leaky roof or a flood could provide the moisture. Then all it takes is some wallpaper or even dust to feed the spores so they can grow into massive colonies that spread even further. It's almost impossible to remove all mold from your home, but it can be controlled. Mold needs moisture to grow, so your house should be kept as dry as possible. Carpets or upholstery that have been soaked should be thrown away. And any mold should be carefully removed with cleaning products. But be sure to remove all of it, as even dead mold is a risk.
Rutherford Burchard Hayes, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, George Herbert Walker Bush, and William Jefferson Clinton all have relatively long names for U.S. presidents. They're each exactly 23 characters. So is the name of Madagascar's current leader, Ari Rajaonarimampianina. But that's not his full name, and when you factor in the other two names that complete it, you'll count 45 characters. So while Madagascar may not be the world's biggest country, its leader indubitably has the longest name of any world president. Now that's random. Next story today. Like many major cities worldwide, the historic U.S. port city of San Francisco, California has thousands of homeless people living on the streets. And that's despite the fact that local officials have taken a number of steps to help them. In 2013, Denise Sandoval joined those efforts. She started by turning old city buses into places where those in need can get towels, hygiene kits, razors, and a shower. Today, she's a CNN hero.
San Francisco is one of the most beautiful places to live. However, you will see thousands upon thousands of people who are living and sleeping on our streets. Every person I saw was struggling with hygiene. If you were trying to apply for a job or apply for housing, you can't do that if you can't get yourself clean. So it's simple, but it's critical. Taking action was not even a choice at that point. It's just something I had to do. We began by converting buses into showers and toilets. To increase our efficiency, we decided to switch to the mobile commercial shower trailer units so that we could get them out there faster and meet need more effectively. By virtue of being mobile, we're able to go into different regions of the city where people are. Are you looking to sign up for the shower? Okay, great.
Walter in 3, Stephen 1. You're good to go.
These are people who get turned away often, who get treated poorly, and our idea is just to open our arms. We've expanded our programming to include pop-up care villages, which bring a ton of providers to the street to provide everything from haircuts to medical services.
Need a hygiene kit? Here you go, Walter. Right, thanks.
Hygiene connects you to your sense of dignity.
Woo, man, I feel better.
There are countless success stories that we've witnessed over the years. People getting employed and finding housing or overcoming addictions. Thank you, Paul. Have a good shower. The work that we do matters and it's making a difference.
For 10 out of 10, an unforgettable wedding proposal, not necessarily a good one. After 4 years of dating, Seth Dixon popped the question to Ruth Salas. But on a bridge over water in Kansas City, Missouri, oops. Ruth said she heard the plunk of the ring in the water. It's not a prank. The ring's gone. And though they didn't find it, even with the help of 30 close friends, Ruth's hoping Seth will propose again sometime. At least the idea has a nice ring to it. But he'll probably have to keep her wedding a while as he saves up for the next golden opportunity. We propose a different venue next time, though if he doesn't alter the plan, they will have come full circle. Does CNN 10 want to see you back tomorrow? I do! I'm Carl Azus.